Most first responders pay no attention to the nervous system, and over long term, it can end up killing you.
My.
In today's video, I'm going to talk to you first responders about how paying attention to the nervous system can heal you both externally and internally for both your mental health and your physical health. So first and foremost, in a nutshell, let me explain what the nervous system is and what it does, just in case you don't know.
Go ahead.
So the nervous system is your brain and spinal cord's main computer board, essentially. It detects external and internal stimulus. Why is that important? Because as first responders, you're constantly used to responding to external threats, something in the environment that is off, right? And so the nervous system processes that information, sends it down through the peripheral nervous system. Hang in there with me.
I'm confused.
That peripheral nervous system is made up of a bunch of nerves, nerve endings and whatnot that connect to all the muscles and organs in the body and tell the body how to respond to that external stimulus. So the nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, the enteric nervous system, all of that stuff isn't really important. But what you're probably familiar with is the parasympathetic, rest and digest, and the sympathetic, which is our fight and flight response. And the reason that we need to pay attention to that, because we constantly stay stuck in that fight or flight response. Think about it. When you're on a regular shift, you're constantly responding to calls of a car crash, calls of shots fired. If you're an emergency room nurse, you get that cardiac patient that comes in. When that stimulus triggers the brain, your body goes into that mode of fight and flight. Now, fight and flight are good because they ramp the body up and they prepare you to take care of that problem that's in front of you, right? But what happens is that once the brain receives that stimulus, it sends signals to the muscle systems, the organs, the nervous system, the adrenal glands, and all of these processes are taking place and getting you ready to fight or flight, whatever the case may be. So when you are finished with that call, so to speak, you kind of find a spot to go. The event is over. You seemingly come back down into what's called parasympathetic or rest and digest. So sympathetic, fight and flight, parasympathetic, rest and digest. When you are working as a first responder, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, or maybe even more, you're having several events throughout the day that are jacking that body up into the fight or flight or sympathetic nervous system. This is constantly causing muscle tension. It's causing you to constantly be on the ready, dumping adrenaline, cortisol. It's taking chemicals from the organs to protect the body. My message to you today is that we stay stuck in that fight or flight response physically. Our body gets used to it over time because we think like, okay, we can handle these calls. We've been there before. We train ourselves to handle those calls and to handle that stress, but the body stays stuck in fight or flight. So you might notice a lot of things like heavy or rapid breathing. You're wired but tired. Your brain's constantly going, but your body's physically checked out. And no matter how much sleep you get, maybe you're constantly tired no matter what. You're very on edge. You're very irritable. Every little thing bothers you. That's that nervous system stuck in fight or flight, preparing to and scanning for threats. That's why it's extremely important to pay attention to our nervous system and how we are responding.
That makes sense.
When we are not on those calls. Now, don't get me wrong. Fight or flight is good in small amounts because it's what we need in order to stay safe, in order to eliminate threats or to deal with critical situations when we're on calls. My call to you is to start paying attention to this, becoming aware of it in order to be able to downregulate into parasympathetic nervous system. And if you're a first responder that's been on the job for any length of time, guaranteeing you that you are stuck in fight or flight and you might not even realize it. So notice some of those warning signs. If you're constantly irritable, if you're constantly physically tired but mentally wired, if you're always scanning for threats or always thinking something is going on, your body is protecting itself, getting ready to fight, essentially. So what we need to do is make deliberate practices to get ourselves from that fight and flight response to the rest and digest or parasympathetic nervous system so that we can calm down and so that we can relax. There are many different exercises to do, but in this video, I just want to explain and tell you that the fastest way to get yourself into fight or flight, down to rest and digest, into parasympathetic nervous system is deep, deliberate breath work. Now, that's another rabbit hole because 95 to 100% of us breathe improperly. We're breathing from that fight or flight response into our shoulders, neck, and traps, and we're not breathing properly, moving the diaphragm. So, in another video, we're going to talk about how to breathe properly. But in the meantime, you can Google, you can check out plenty of other videos here on YouTube on how to breathe properly from the diaphragm in order to get a full, deep, relaxing breath in order to stimulate the vagus nerve, which we'll also talk about in another video, but ultimately to get us into rest and digest. In the meantime, if that means just wherever you're at, if you're in the middle of a shift, I teach police officers all the time on their way to a hot call, when they're coming home, in the driveway before they walk into the house after a long shift. It's just a simple big breath, hold it for a couple seconds and let it out. Do that 3 or 4 times. Start resetting that, get out of fight and flight and get into sympathetic nervous system. And we're going to talk about it a lot more. I can tell you, being retired for 2 years, my wife being a physical therapist and working a lot, she's also a breath work coach, having her help me still after 2 years of being retired, learning how to breathe properly. She does these exercises with me and still notices that my nervous system to this day is still wound extremely tight. So I'm working on it. I want you to work on it. I want us to be healthy. And in order to do that, we have to settle ourselves down. So we're going to talk a lot more about the nervous system in upcoming videos. But in this one, I want to give you the 30,000 foot view on what the nervous system does in order for you to be able to watch this video and say, yes, that sounds like me. Yes, I go through that, or I always feel wired, or I can't settle down. Pay attention to fight or flight and your nervous system. If this resonates with you, I would really appreciate it. If you hit that subscribe button, we'll get a lot more of this information out to you for our first responders and their wellness. Hit that like button and share this with somebody below. Until then, we'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.